Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today it is time for the Stellar Crown Illustration Rare tier list. Now, this set is a really small when it comes to illustration rares, especially when you compare it to like some of the last ones like Paradox Drift and Temporal Forces, and even Twilight Masquerade. This set is almost nothing. In fact, as you can see, that one row that is shown in tier list is all of them that are there. It's got, I think it's like 13 illustration rares and 6 SIRs in total, making it incredibly small to the point where it's actually smaller than Shrouded Fable, if I'm not mistaken, by like a decent amount. Because while Shrouded Fable didn't have as many SIRs, as I believe that one only had the 5, it had a lot more illustration rares. But let's see if this is one of those cases of quality over quantity, starting with the Bulbasaur. Now, for some reason, it seems like we gotta have a Pidgey in all of these ones. I don't know why. I'm not like fully against it, but all the starters have it. I believe it's because they was like from the same release for Japan, and we just got the one promo. But it's still cute. It's a nice looking one, and I think I've said it before, or if I haven't, look, Squirtle had a really good illustration. We'll talk about that one later. When it comes to 151, it's Bulbasaur had a good one. This is definitely the better one. I think that Stellar Crown gets this idea of it only being a 2-card set, being the Bulbasaur and Squirtle. And I kind of agree with it to an extent of the two being Bulbasaur and Squirtle are just really nice. This is a really nice illustration where the Pidgey, one of them being just chill, vibing right next to Bulbasaur and the other one joining in. It's really cute. Having all the plants and little watering can is really good attention to detail. It's something that makes the whole card fit together and the whole art, just all of it go together. This is a really, really solid one. I do think this deserves to be an S tier. I think most people would agree with it. It is a really solid one. Now the next one we have is Ledian. Very forgettable card of a very forgettable Pokemon. In fact, a very disliked Pokemon because of the fact that Ledian is one of those that's really aggravating because it has like the right kind of moves and abilities to where it should be good, but its stat total is just so bad it doesn't work. But as for this one, it's cute. You know, it's a ladybug, has the lights coming down from, looks to be all the fireflies, or, you know, it's little, you know, glowing powder is really what it's meant to be. It's the glowing powder stuff that it talks about in the description, which, again, as mentioned before, I do like when they use the Pokédex description they put on the card in the actual artwork. With that being said, this has the box art issue. For those of you that have not seen these videos, and for those of you, if you have seen it, you can skip like 15 seconds, but those of you who haven't, one of my biggest critiques of a lot of illustration rares that I deem not too great are where you can basically do this to the illustration, where you make the box of a regular Pokemon card and say, does this take away from the art? This Ledian is a textbook example of it not really taking anything away from the art. The only thing you might have to do is kind of move the image up a little bit so that all the little yellow powder is there, or glowing powder is there. Overall, though, it's not the best. I don't actually think it's bad. I think it's a D tier. A lot like the Cresselia we talked about last time. It's one of those that isn't really good in a sense where objectively, I guess you say as objective as you can be with art, it's not done well to where it's insane. With the difference being you actually can tell what's going on here, and the fact that it is still an appealing card, I just don't think it deserves to be too high. It's just the background is just there to be there. The foreground is non-existent, so putting it in D tier. And now we have the Lileep. What a random Pokemon. Some of these ones, like, I'm glad they're giving a lot of love to Pokemon, but, like, man, the fact that I gotta wait for whenever the Mega Delphox set comes out to get any sort of Delphox illustration rare, yet Lileep gets one, like, come on, man. Point is, though, this is a nice one. Having it be in this little underwater tank. See, this is how you make something work that really shouldn't. Because if you look at this for, like, a split second, you're just thinking it's a Lileep just in a person's house. It's not. Yes, it is in the house, but it's in a tank in the house. And in that tank is water since it's supposed to be in the water. It is really well done. The fact that you have it to be where the color of the water is not traditional blue or quote-unquote clear, instead it's this like yellowy texture, works because of the contrast to the top of the container or the top of the tank, whatever you want to call it, a tank. It's done really well. And having the person, you know, the trainer looking on into it with the seemingly just a very basic face, looks like it's just dot eyes, but the point is it's looking in there. It's really nice. I love it for that reason. Like, I really like it. Now, this is one that you could, in theory, box art, but not really, because then you're kind of cutting off a lot of the tank, and that's a big part of it. Having all these other plant-like things and having the rugs, the Lileep rugs, is a really nice touch to show how much this, you know, care is put into this one. It's a really nice one. I don't think it's insane by any means, but I do think it's an A tier. It's a really nice one. Definitely deserves to be up there. Now we have the Turtonator. The Turtonator is one that Is Fit's one of those where it's very much just the Pokemon itself. Now, like the Persian we talked about in the last part, it is nice and refreshing seeing the Pokemon being placed in like the actual middle of the card, not, where the artwork normally would be, to where you have the legs being covered by the Ring of Fire. I do like that. The cave being super dark is great contrast to Turtonator itself, as well as the shadow with the brown in the cave entrance. It's really nice. And it's one of those where, because you can see the little rain drizzles and you can see the sun peering through, you then get the water to look the way it does on the bottom. It's really nice. And there's something about it that, to me, it just doesn't scream great artwork, but it is really good. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't scream, this is an awesome illustration rare, despite the fact that it's like, the more you look at it, you're like, man, a lot of these things really do connect really well. All things considered, I think this is another A tier. I think it's not S, but it is a really, really good one. I'm going to put it there. Now we have Reboot. Now, I would love to just basically put it in F, send this video to one of my friends, and have him get insanely pissed off that I put one of his favorite Pokemon low. Okay, let's call it like it is. This is a good one. Right, this is the whole soccer line. While the starter lineup is definitely the weakest in the series history, this still makes sense, right? You have it kicking a ball, and it's not fully easy to tell. It could easily be like a snowball kind of thing because of the fact that it is snowing. Just could be. Seeing a fire Pokemon out in the snow is not something you normally see a lot, so it is a really nice change of pace to see this. The snow is done beautifully, the detail. The fact that Reboot takes up legitimately 90% of the card in terms of top to bottom. I think it's like 90% of it. Basically, right under the bottom bar for resistance, you still see part of its foot peeking through. And then obviously its ear goes above the Evolves from Scorbunny little bar. It just takes a lot of the card. It's a really, really nice one. I think this is another A tier. Now we have the Squirtle. Again, beautiful artwork. This whole trio, these two and the Charmander, are one of the not very few, but are one of the few, like, expensive, big chase, money things, or whatever you want to call it, or hyped up cards, that I actually agree with, right? I haven't been any slouch just saying the Bubble Mew is an overpriced, overrated card, same with the Necklace Czar from 151, Van Gogh Pikachu, but whenever something is just damn good, like the Greninja, or like these three, I'll say it that way as well. These are beautiful cards, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that this set is it's like Shrouded Fable. Shrouded Fable has a couple cards getting up. I'm pretty sure both the Squirtle and Bulbasaur are still relatively affordable cards compared to other ones. This is a beautiful card. I would say it's... I honestly can't tell if I like it more than the Bulbasaur. It being in the little kiddie pool is so cute. And it splashing the water in the Pidgey's nice. I think the Bulbasaur one, I just love that you have the other Pidgey just sleeping right next to it. But damn, this is still another S tier card. It's beautiful. Both of these are great with the Charmander. It's a great trio. It's just a shame that we're stuck in, Pokemon where Charizard gets all the exclusive stuff first, right? All three of them got Gigantamax forms, but two of them were locked behind DLC. One wasn't. Guess which one wasn't? One of them got 2 Mega Forms. The others got 1 each. Guess why that is what it is. And now we have the Crabominable. I'm gonna be honest, I like the idea. This ain't it, okay? I get it. You're supposed to make it seem like it's at the top of a snowy mountain. It's a ton of snow. It's like a blizzard. You've got all the snow next to it. At the end of the day, this is a Pokemon card. And as I talked about the Sandile a long time ago, I should be able to see the Pokemon I am looking at. And if I'm not, it should be done in a very clever way, like it peeking through because it makes sense, or it just fits in line with a character like the Slowpoke one or the Psyduck. This is none of them. I think this is a very weak illustration where it's going in F tier. I fully get the idea, but the answer is no, I don't think it worked. Now we have Joltik, for some reason. I say for some reason, because I'm 90% sure this card is 3, because there's the one where it was biting the... But it was this one, and there's one in 156, I believe is what everybody's calling it. Black White White Flare. This one, I really don't know how to feel about it. It's one of those where it feels like it's trying to be Baxcalibur with the, like, what am I looking at kind of thing, but it's not done in a way where it's, like, really, like, a psychedelic look to it. This one is more so just done in a... Like, this fits better for, like, Toxtricity, honestly. Like, because you have these lightning bolts and all these electric shapes put in a way to where if you put like a Toxtricity there, this card looks really good and fits. With Joltik, it's like, bro, no, it's Joltik. It's like the smallest Pokemon in the series, or one of them. I'm really not the biggest fan of it. It doesn't look bad. I think it's a C tier. Now you have Zeraora. It's a tough one to put, honestly. It's a bit of a tough one. Because on one hand, I do really like it, but on the other hand, I look at this and I kind of compare it to the other, like, single, front and center, big Pokemon, like the Enamorous illustration rare, the Infernape illustration rare, and I just say it's not as good as those. It's still a really good one. The Blue Lightning coming with the claws is a really nice touch, but overall, I just like, especially when I compare it, like the Enamorous having that really a very monochrome-esque feel, despite being an illustration rare, and the Infernape being so closed in. I think this is still a good one, but I'm putting it in B tier. Now we have Milcery. This is a cute one. They've done a really good job with a lot of the food-esque Pokemon, like, you know, there's the Vanillix one that came out a while ago that was really nice. This is another one, or Vanilla, I should say. This is a good one, right? A little Pikachu cookie. Of course, you gotta put a Pikachu cookie in there. Is a nice one. You have the Jigglypuff, the Galarian Ponyta ones, and then it's, you know, in with all this candy. It really, really works. It's a cute one. Is it definitely a bit sad that the bottom part of the card under Mumble is literally just 2 cupboards with the most bare bones, like, no offense to Jusuke who drew it, but, like, bro, I could draw that bottom part. You know what I mean? My lines might not be as straight, but if you give me, like, a protractor or a ruler, they'll be that straight. Like, the bottom half is something I could do. Now, the top half, no. But the bottom half, it's like, dude, all you did was make 2 semi-diagonal lines to, you know, be the front of the cupboard, the top part. You did 1 line for the 2 doors. You made these 2 little Pokeballs that aren't even fully symmetrical. And then you had the 2 little parts of the doors. Like, the bottom part drags this one down. Like, this is a borderline A, but that bottom drags it straight to B tier. It's still a good artwork, do not get me wrong. But that bottom part, like, in terms of a bottom half of a card, this is probably in the top 5 worst bottom halves in the illustration rare Scarlet Violet era. Because, like, man, I get that the way you put it is where you put it. You easily could have lowered this artwork to where, like, that Pikachu cookie is where, like, the top corner is. Or, like, that the top part of the design of the door is. And to where Milcery is still, like, very much front and center. But now it's, like, just better overall. Because the background is great. Having all the, like, baking and cooking tools in the background is a great touch. But the front is just so bad. Now you have Meditite. This is a nice one. Now, does it fit the issue of the box art? To a degree, yes. Like, at some point, it's like you can kind of infer what a tree's doing. Like, you cut the box art to where you have the vines and the trees coming up and the Chatot in the background, you can kind of tell what it is. But, man, it still looks really nice. It's a very eye-appealing card. Meditite being in the shade makes full sense instead of, you know, Chatot being in the shade. Chatot is vibing, and it's, you know, very much the antithesis of Meditite. It's a loud Pokemon that, you know, sings, speaks like people do, literally has a music note as his head. And Meditite is, you know, trying to meditate, and it's giving the side eye to the Chatot, and the Chatot's just looking right back at it. It's a really nice one. It tells a story, and that is a great artwork, putting in B tier. Now we have the Gulpin. Like, dude, sometimes using one brain cell to make a card is the perfect way to do this. This is using one brain cell. I need to make a Gulpin illustration rare. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to make it eat a huge piece of cake, or a cake itself. Like, dude, that is literally what you should do 100 out of 100 times. This is beautiful. The background colors are just there to be background colors. And I think it honestly works. Like, this is the most, in terms of coming up with a design, this is probably the most low effort one in the history of these illustration rares. Outside of maybe the Toadstool running and you just threw paint strips on it. This is so easy to come up with, but Jerky did just such a good job with it. Like, I know I'm sounding condescending a bit, but I'm saying it in, like, a good way. Because, like, sometimes it's like with football. I've talked about a lot when I talk to people about football. Like sometimes when you're at 3rd and 1, you just need to do a halfback dive. You don't need to do this insane play action, deep 6-yard cut in slant or whatever. Sometimes the basic play is the right play. This is a beautiful one, and this should be viewed almost on par with the Squirtle and Bulbasaur for the opposite reason. Whereas those have so much intricate detail, this one has so little, but it says so much. This is Gulpin. Great card. Deserves S tier. Now, Archelodon. This is a cool one. This is a nice one. Having all the kids in the foreground, background, and the one old guy back there. This dude is clearly loved by all these kids. He's just having a good time, vibing in there. It's a nice one. It's one of those where it's like, what is really going on, though? You know what I mean? It's a bunch of kids going to it, having fun with them. I don't really have a ton to say with this one. I think it's a good one. I'm putting it in B tier. So for the overall illustration rares, I mean, man, 3 in the S tier, that's pretty good. 3 in the A tier, 4 in the B tier. It does have a couple of weak ones. Like I said, the Milcery overall is good, but that bottom half is so weak, and the Crabominable is like really not good. But man, the Squirtle and Bulbasaur are fantastic. The Gulpin is just like almost a perfect illustration rare. The Reboot is such a that's a borderline S. The Leap is still really good. Even the Zeraora, I know a lot of people would put that one higher. That's the thing. Like this is one of those lists or one of these ones where a couple of these ones I fully could understand somebody putting one up higher. Because like I said, I know art is always subjective and all that. But like there's some I just cannot understand, like the Heracross and Palea Evolved, why it's so loved. But like I could understand why you'd put the Zeraora in A, and I would not fight you on it. I could see why you'd put the Reboot in S. Hell, I could even see you put the Leap in S tier. It's a really good group of illustration rares. In terms of illustration rare, it definitely was quality over quantity. Now we have the SIRs. Now the last set we talked about had a insanely weak SIR lineup. How about this one? Hydrapple. You don't even have the actual Pokemon on here. Like, let's call it this. This is not an actual Pokemon. This is literally a painting. It's great. Like, this is really nice. It is tough to do this. Because, like, let's call it this. Because of that Paradigm Trigger box that came out, you could do this with Lugia, easily get away with it. You could easily do this with Mew and get away with this. Hell, I would even argue the Reggies, to a degree, you could get away with this one. To do this for a Hydrapple, where you just do like a painting on a wall with a bunch of Applins around, that's I mean, man, that's really impressive. This is a really nice one. It has a lot of character despite it not even being an actual Pokemon. It is just it is a painting in a card that is an illustration. Like, that's really good. I think this is an A tier one. I think it's one that is definitely underappreciated, deserves to be there. Galvantula EX. One of the most forgettable EXs, honestly. I know that I think you can play this card, but I don't think anyone really does. As for this one, it does fit with the Joltik, and I feel like that's the only point of it. But again, I feel like this exact same art with Toxtricity would just work so much better. Like, could you imagine doing this with Toxtricity, throwing in a bit more purple and some more outline into the actual, like, white lightning bolts that are on here? It just looks so nice. As for the Galvantula, it's okay. The Stellar Crown on it, if you will, it doesn't actually look that bad, really. It fits really well with Galvantula's body, but I can't put it anywhere else but C. It's like one of those, it's one of the rare times where I'll say that, these cards, well, not one of the rare times now, but used to be rare, where you have these ones that work together, and it's like, these ones ain't it, you know what I mean? So, I'm going to put it in C tier. Now you have Dachshund EX. Great one. Like I said, they have done a unfathomably good job with the food cards. Now, I used the Dachshund in my playthrough Scarlet and Violet, and this is a really good one. You're having it right next to a piece of pie. A pie with a single piece taken out. You have all the other food. You have the berries right next to it. And then you have all the other baked goods. You have what looks like a cinnamon roll. You have the croissant. You have some other stuff. This is a great looking card. I mean, it is hard to put it somewhere. Like, I don't see this as an S tier card, but damn, this is another good A tier card. Really, really solid one. Now I have the Terrapagos. Now, the Terrapagos, this was the big chase card, then it's gone down. And you have, like, the little guy Terrapagos and the big guy Terrapagos together, which is really nice. Because even the little guy Terrapagos, I hadn't even really, like, thought about that one in a while. It's a nice one. Now, when I'm trying to think about this one like in the nicest way possible. I do believe that this should be for what the set is. It makes sense that this should be the chase card for the SIRs, but it's just not as good in SIR as the other ones. I feel a lot of it is that you have the big rainbow border, and all of a sudden the rainbow border is, being synonymous with like huge hit because of, prismatic evolutions. I think it's a good one. I think it's B tier. I think it is lower than the other ones. It's still good. Overall, the SIR Pokemon really solid in this one. Your weakest one was a C tier. It's still pretty good. And now we have the Briar Supporter Illustration Rare. Now, the Briar one is a nice one. And it's mainly because of the gem. The gem being shown through with that bright sun, having it just go everywhere is a really, really nice touch to make it look really good. And the fact that you obviously have the earring, which is a similar type of gemstone, also having that, massive massive amounts of rays coming off it is a really nice touch. It's a really good looking card for that reason. I don't think this is an awesome SIR trainer, but I think it's a solid B tier one, so I'm going to put it there. Now you have Lacey. Now, this is one that, I don't know, I think it's I don't really think it's, I feel like a lot of people view this one really high. I don't. I think it's a good one. I don't think it's incredible. I don't know. It's what I would say. This is a card, especially with the X, when I think about this, I think of playing the game. I think that, Judge fits that better. Because it's, when you're actually hitting with your opponent. I know this does technically affect your opponent, but, this is just, a worse Lily in a lot of ways. I wouldn't be shocked if this actually sees play with Lily because of the fact that G's the one rotating out, so you could use this, and then you could have it be where, you're always getting 8 cards, essentially. For the most part, you're always getting 8. So, honestly, I could see this getting more use of Lily coming out. But in terms of the actual card artwork, if I'm going to be honest, I think, Crispin's full art, regular full art, is better artwork than this one, honestly. And I even think the Lacey full art is arguably better, because I think the background of this card really doesn't do a ton for it. I think this is an okay one. I'm going to put it in C tier. So overall, that'll be my Stellar Crown tier list. Really, really solid set, honestly. I've said it before. I know I mainly talked about Paradox and Temporal Forces, but this whole mid-Scarlet and Violet era is definitely underappreciated because the next set we're talking about, if I'm not mistaken, is Surging Sparks, where all the hype really started, the hype beasts really started to, take fold of the hobby. And where these earlier sets, but not the early ones, get kind of underappreciated and kind of swept under the rug despite how good they are. It's a really, really solid lineup. I mean, again, when you're looking at this one, you may not have had a lot of overall illustration rares and SIRs. You only had 5 of them that I would consider mediocre to weak. I mean, I have more than that in just B tier alone. I have that many in A tier. Really, really solid group. Overall, though, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified whenever I upload videos like this video as well. Comment down below your thoughts on the overall tier list and what you would think about them. Because, we still got a lot of sets to talk about. We got Surging Sparks, Journey Together, Destined Rivals, Black Belt White Flare, Prismatic. Might even be one other set I'm just completely spacing on. I don't think there is, but there might be. So be looking for all that. And as always, guys, have a great night.